A sharp call cut through the chatter. Someone shouted, "All right, everyone, time to bring your birthday gifts to Old Man Lancaster. Sons, daughters, grandkids, move it to the garden." Julius stood with a lazy stretch, straightening his tailored jacket. "Showtime," he muttered. Michelle rose too, her gaze locking on Alex, her son-in-law, with naked contempt. "Lord, look at you. 2 solid years in the same ratty outfit." Before Alex could reply, she snatched up her coffee mug and slung its contents in his face. Hot liquid and caffeine drenched his hair, streaked his only white shirt, and stained him from collar to hem. "Why don't you take that disgusting excuse for clothing and toss it in the garbage where it belongs?" she taunted with a sneer. "And while you're at it, go find something decent for your grandfather-in-law's birthday. He was generous enough to hand over my daughter to a useless bum like you. The least you can do is show him you're capable of one proper gift." In the garden, the wealthier Lancasters stifled laughter behind manicured hands. Someone in the crowd jeered, "He probably can't even afford a fresh T-shirt, let alone a decent present." Alex stood there, soaking, the coffee trickling down his jaw, forced to swallow his pride for the millionth time. He turned on his heel, ignoring their snickers, and headed inside, navigating the sprawling corridors until he found the bathroom. Once inside the cramped stall, he dropped onto the closed lid and let out a bitter growl, knuckles trembling violently as they dug into his knees. "Why the hell do I even tolerate this garbage? They treat me worse than a steaming pile of... I'd rather burn every bridge with these arrogant, soul-sucking parasites and walk away forever." He thought, "God, how satisfying it would be to smash their smug faces in." Alex clenched his fists tighter, knuckles turning white as a cruel memory sliced through his mind. The slick words of that snake-tongued lawyer echoed bitterly in his head. "Alex, you want answers about your real family, don't you? Then survive 2 whole years buried in the Lancaster mansion without any money. Endure whatever pathetic role they toss your way. You can't hit anyone there. And finally earn your $100,000 as a graduation fee. Fail, and the truth dies with you. 2 years of being kicked around like a flea-bitten stray dog. 2 years of ridicule, insults, and humiliation raining down day after punishing day. Lesser men would have snapped, but Alex had endured, fury fueling his battered pride. What a sick joke, marrying into these monsters. Hell, I'd have been safer as their gardener or cleaning their filthy toilets. His voice trembled with barely restrained rage. If I endure this torment and come away empty-handed, I swear I'll hunt down that fake James Bond and put a bullet right through his arrogant skull. Nobody plays games with me and lives. Alex stood slowly, muscles coiled, rage blazing hot in his veins. At this moment, every bone in the Lancaster family deserved to shatter beneath his fists, and nothing would satisfy him more. Today's the deadline, he reminded himself to cool down. Just one more step to that $100,000. He glanced down at his ruined shirt, the deep brown stains reeking of stale coffee. He changed into a threadbare outfit from his duffel bag. It was the only backup he had. Cheap, wrinkled, but at least it was not soaked in coffee. This was not exactly a rare incident. He had been humiliated like this so many times he had lost count. He had no paycheck, no allowance. The family dogs lived better than he did, fed on gourmet leftovers from some fancy catering service while he was scrounging for stale bread. Every time he had tried to work some odd job and earn a few bucks, a Lancaster would show up, barking at him. "How dare you degrade our family name flipping burgers or stocking shelves?" As if that was more shameful than making a man live like a broke servant. He exhaled, running a hand over his face. "This is it," he breathed, steeling himself for the final hurdle. "I only need them to fork over $100,000. That's nothing to these billionaires. They've spent the same on a vet bill for Grandma Lancaster's precious poodle." Still, it was a long shot, but he clung to hope. Maybe after all this time being their punching bag, they would spare the chump change. Suddenly, a man approached Alex and leaned in close. "Brother Alex, how much longer are you going to keep hiding among them? Say the word, and we'll wipe these ungrateful Lancasters off the map. You're the god of mercenaries in the war zone. People will rise the moment you call." "I don't have it in me to play humble like you. Let's just end them." "Hold your fire, Carlos," Alex said calmly. "Stay in the shadows. My time here ends today. Go home and stop stirring up trouble. I need to know who my family is." Carlos nodded, his voice low. "All right, but when you need us, we're ready. All of us." Then he turned and walked away. Alex returned to the garden, the sun baking the meticulously manicured lawns, the swarm of designer dresses and suits, the stench of forced smiles and false niceties. Rich folks trying to impress each other with meaningless words and even more meaningless hearts. It was the annual Lancaster family gathering, a garish spectacle of unbridled wealth. Mountains of food that would go to waste, a blatant show of extravagance. They nibbled on a little here and there, feigning dainty appetites to prove they were not gluttons, when in fact they were among the greediest people Alex had ever met. At the head of the main table sat Charles Lancaster, age 86, vacant eyes drifting in and out of awareness, his mind more than half gone. Beside him, his wife, still razor-sharp at 72, kept a chokehold on the Lancaster Empire's finances. She wore so many diamonds and gold rings that Alex wondered if she was afraid she would vanish without her flashing jewelry. Their children, 3 sons and a daughter, fawned and flattered like vultures around a carcass. But they directed their real efforts through their kids, exploiting Grandma's soft spot for grandchildren. One granddaughter, Olivia, stepped up with a smug grin. "Grandma, I graduated top of my class at Harvard," she announced, leaning in to hug the old matriarch. She smoothly steered her boyfriend forward, a tall man in a suit that probably cost more than some cars. "Meet Michael. He's the CEO of Alia Group. Makes a cool $1 million a year. And look," she pointed to a high-end jewelry box. "He brought this for Grandpa's birthday, a diamond piece worth $500,000. Everyone knew Grandpa had zero clue what was happening. This so-called gift belonged to Grandma the moment it left Michael's hands. Michael, reeking of cologne and arrogance, set the precious box on the table. "Just a small token," he said, his voice dripping with self-importance. "I adore Olivia and hope you'll accept me into the Lancaster family." Grandma's face blossomed in delight. "Marvelous!" she exclaimed. Then her pleased expression soured the instant she spotted Alex standing next to Sophia, wearing clothes that cost less than the label on Michael's socks. "Yes, we need more in-laws like you," she declared, loud enough for half the guests to hear. "Not some jobless, leeching nobody." All eyes swung to Alex and took in his pitiful appearance. They snorted, and sneered. One of the grandsons, Philip, let out a laugh. Still dressing like you crawled out of a landfill? Hey, how are you going to pay for a gift? Going to use your lint and bottle caps? Alex met his glare, and a cold anger vibrated in his tone. Sincerity matters more than money, he said. Then he looked directly at Grandma Lancaster, leveling his voice. And since you care so much about wealth, I've decided on the perfect present. I'm going to start a fund toward a coffin for you, dear grandmother-in-law. His words cracked like a whip in the hush that followed, echoing across the garden where every last person had gone quiet, stunned at his nerve.
Hey amazing viewers, it's Alexander Kingsley here. Thanks for sticking with us. By the time of the release of this video, only 8% of our viewers have joined the party by subscribing, and 92% of you might miss out on our next mind-blowing video. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and join the exclusive club.